So you've been doing film and record production since then. What would you say a highlight of your production days or your days at Expression has been since then?
Well, right at the tail end of my days at Sega, we had the concept, which was already proven and popular in Japan, and I think, again, looking at it now, 12 plus years later, we were way ahead of our time. We were starting to sign bands and break them in games, which, and singles and things, which is now a no-brainer. Everyone from Snoop to, popular bands are doing it all the time. We were trying to get that off the ground back then, and we're, kind of hitting our heads against the wall. But I worked with a group then called the Bygone Dogs, and we had featured some of their music in a game called, what was it called? It was a driving game or a boat racing game or something. I can't even remember what it was. But the game was okay. The band was fantastic. And I remember getting a call from a battalion of Marines in the Gulf during the first Gulf War who wrote to say that the Bygone Dogs had become the most popular band in the barracks because they had heard it in the game and then just started playing the music off the CD-ROM, which you could do at the time, and not even playing the game anymore. But it was a great kind of pre-Green Day, punky but melodic three-piece band that I just had so much fun working with and producing. So that was a lot of fun. And then since then, I've just done a lot of TV, commercials. I just actually finished my 4th feature film. Believe it or not, I've been scoring it for the last 6 months between 10 p.m. and 3 a.m. every night. Because I have a real job, so I got to do that. But it's probably my favorite soundtrack that I've done in quite a while. It's for a feature film called Moonlight Sonata, and based on the Beethoven piece. And it's actually a kind of a thriller, but it's an independent feature, and it's been making the rounds at festivals and winning quite a few awards, so I'm pretty happy with that. And I'll try to send you the soundtrack to that as well. Yeah, we're going to put out a soundtrack, and again, it's nothing special, but just creatively, it was a ton of fun to work on. The film looks beautiful, it's well acted, and an independent film, you have to really kind of do it on your own. There's never a budget, especially at the end in post-production. They've spent everything on 2 more days of rental of the red camera or something. They always find a way to dig into the music budget. But the fact that I have a job, I don't need the fees, and I have a pretty decent studio at home, I was able to carve out a pretty good soundtrack for that. So that's been a lot of fun. And I wrote a piece that became the anthem for the breast cancer work of the Susan B. Komen Foundation that I'm pretty proud of, called We Will Survive, it was called, and it's been performed for millions and millions of people all over the world, and I wrote and produced that. I did a couple of albums with Polygram. One that I'm particularly proud of was called Voices Lost, which was a tribute to Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison, and Jimi Hendrix, and I wrote the title track to that album. I just continue to produce other people and write music. I'm getting ready to start a new project with actually a guy in the Obama cabinet who I've worked with in the past, and he's just through just the amazing way the world works, he's ended up working with the president now. But he was just in town yesterday, as a matter of fact, and we met. We're going to be collaborating on some work, not only for the administration, but for him, his own projects. And yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of fun stuff. I'm right down the street from Pixar, so I'm just totally enamored with them and what they're able to do, and I'm totally inspired by the school here. And my role here, it's funny, I got involved here when I was still at Sega. I was introduced to these people who were, this crazy European billionaire who was starting a digital arts college in the Bay Area. You got to come and see this thing. And I came over and was totally blown away with the degree to which they were going to take this college, and got involved as a consultant originally, and then came on full-time in 2003, and then became president and creative director in 2006. So it's been just a journey of love, because I've always been a big fan of education. I've always loved the academic environment and all the discovery that happens there. And when you then pair that together with bleeding edge music and audio technology and 3D animation and motion graphics and game design, how could it be better than that? So I have a blast here. I mean, as the president, I kind of float, between, sitting and critiquing curriculum and really dialing in these classes to, yesterday I was hosting Rancid here. They came and did a little show for us here, and prior to their big show at the stadium later that night. And Alan Parsons and I have become friends, and I dedicated a studio to him, and then I worked on a project for his new DVD set. And Jack Douglas, the famed producer who discovered Aerosmith and Cheap Trick and was the last person to see John Lennon alive when he was producing Double Fantasy, he's on the staff here. He flies in every 6 weeks to teach a class, no matter where he is in the world, no matter who he's working with. And he's been able to get our students involved in these big records. And so, I mean, it's like a playland for me. So it's just awesome. It's 100,000 square feet of bleeding edge technology and Walter Stork design studios. And it's pinch yourself stuff. It's really fun.